Hello and welcome to the Cobcast, Inside the Grind with the National Corn Growers Association. This is where leaders, growers, and stakeholders in the corn industry can turn for big picture conversations about the state of the industry and its future. From the fields of the Corn Belt to the DC Beltway, we're making sure that the growers who feed America have a say in the issues that are important to them, with key leaders who are shaping the future of agriculture. So make sure you're following this show in your favorite podcast app and sign up for the National Corn Growers Association newsletter at ncga.com. I'm Dusty Weiss, and today, with the Christmas countdown well underway, the 11th hour upon us, we are joined now by NCGA President Jed Bower to wrap up 2025. Look ahead to 26. Jed, how are the holiday preparations coming along at your house here?
Well, Dusty, to be honest, I'm probably not the person to ask on the holiday. But as far as the farm goes, we're still hard at it. You get done with one season, you start getting ready for the next. So that's kind of what we're up to. But my wife's the person to ask on how the holiday preparations are going, if I'm going to be honest with everybody.
She's got that on lock around there? You guys got big plans?
Yeah, we do, actually. We decided to take a family cruise.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, so we're going to head out Christmas Day on that. And then all the family found out. So now they're wanting to move Christmas up. So we're still stuck doing the normal family holiday stuff, no matter what.
Man. So you're packing and preparing meals at the same time?
Well, my wife is. I'll be honest again. I haven't started yet. I'll wait till the very last second before I pack up for that. But
no, like you, my wife tends to take point on preparing for the big get-togethers and all that. I did, however, have a chance to be a hero this year in that when we had Thanksgiving this year, our stove broke down. We didn't have an oven for Thanksgiving, which is not what you want.
No.
when you try to make Thanksgiving dinner. But we did. We got that thing up and purring like a kitten again here just in time to make Christmas cookies. So we're coming through it all right there. And as a small business owner, it's that time of year when I'm looking back on everything that's happened in 2025 and trying to figure out what I learned so I can be in a good position for next year. That same process is playing out at kitchen tables around the Corn Belt this year, and certainly I imagine same things happening in your house. But as you look back on it, where are you finding the bright sides right now from 2025, Jed?
Oh, we definitely have a few. Looking back at the beginning of the year, I never thought we were going to deal with Maha or had even heard of really Maha at that point.
Didn't have that on your bingo card, did you?
No, not really. That was kind of an interesting deal. We fought back on that. We pushed back on a lot of the issues that they were coming out with on the chemical side of things. Obviously, we want growers to be able to use all the tools in their toolbox. We want the public to understand that we use things safely. We use them for a reason, and we definitely don't overuse, because as struggling as most farmers are right now financially, we definitely are not over applying things we don't need to. So that was a battle. Again, like I said, we didn't plan on doing, but interestingly, we seemed to at least overcome that a little easier than I expected. As the final report came out, obviously the pesticides were not mentioned in it as they were in the first preliminary report that came out. So I would call that a win.
Kind of get an opportunity to take a deep breath and wipe the sweat off our brow there and go, whew, dodged a bullet. But
I don't know if it's a deep breath, because I think we're still going to be dealing with this to some effort, even at state levels across the nation for here on. I mean, it's not that we don't want to see Americans healthy again, but definitely we need to make sure that they're taking that science-based approach. And we have to look out for our members and make sure we're there fighting those battles and helping everybody understand why what we do is sustainable and why it's important to us.
You know, it's interesting. We use terms like that a lot, fighting the battles and going to fight for our members and all that. But the further I get into this, the more that I realize that Hollywood has kind of ruined all of us in terms of what you expect when it comes to getting these big policy wins in Washington, D.C. It ain't Mr. Smith goes to Washington. There's no drama. There's just work. And certainly when Mexico announced that it had plans to ban the import of GM corn, this is a couple years ago, it could have been dramatic, but there was no panic. There was no big dramatic filibuster, somebody standing up there and talking for hours on end. NCGA and its state orgs just rolled up their sleeves and grinded it out. They went to work, and that process officially concluded this year. That's a big win that we can appreciate.
Huge win, huge win. And you're exactly right. And that's what we do. We just roll up the sleeves, get to work. We're still kind of working on the USMCA agreement. We're looking for a full extension moving forward. But you're exactly right. That agreement worked how it should. We brought the attention to them, to the administration, and said, hey, what Mexico is planning on doing here is not science-based. It's not going to work well for the American farmer. You need to take a look at this. And they did. We had the hearings and it worked out in our favor, thank goodness. But you're exactly right. You just go to work every day and keep fighting the battles.
Another battle that we had to fight this year was just getting access to new export markets. And certainly that's been uphill sledding here. I mean, with all that corn rolling in from the fields this year, we need new demand. We need new buyers for it. And we had a couple of wins in terms of expanding export markets and new trade agreements.
Oh, you're exactly right. The news came out early on with UK on importing more ethanol and corn-fed beef, which was excellent. We're also hearing Japan obviously is going to take in some more ethanol, potentially some more corn, a lot more of the Southeast Asian countries. We've got some positive information there. Now, again, we're still waiting to see shipments get shipped, but the administration has been very good and listening very well to us on where the low-hanging fruit possibilities might be for us in the corn sector, where we can ship corn to. And as all the growers across the country have seen, we've had a tremendous yield this year across the country, more planted acres than we've ever seen. We have currently record exports, but unfortunately the price of corn is still not where it needs to be for our growers to make a profit.
From that same vein of things that maybe people don't get as rah-rah excited about as they ought to, but certainly they ought to be paying attention to them, tax and farm policy. We got a couple of wins in that department this year.
Oh, you're exactly right. And I do believe most farmers pay more attention to that than the general public. But yes, through the big, beautiful bill, definitely huge wins for not only farmers, but for rural America. The ability to allow us to potentially pass operations down to the next generation, and just so many different things that fell into that bill tax-wise that's going to help our growers not only this coming year, but well into the future, we hope. And just great policy finally out of the lack of work we've unfortunately seen with Congress. That was a bright, shining light for sure.
To say the least. And Jed, I've lived in corn country for almost 40 years myself. I have been around corn almost my whole life, and I have never seen corn as tall as I saw corn this summer in southwest Wisconsin. This year's crop was one for the record books, and if we don't take time to celebrate that right now, when are we? But yields, production, knocked them all out of the park this year.
All truthfully did. I mean, corn is America's crop, and I think this year was a prime example of that. Huge acreages, huge yields. In my area, we were off just a tick, but we had a tremendous wet spring, and then we ended up in a drought later in the season. But yeah, just talking with everybody across the country, and there were some high points, as you mentioned, and then there were some low points like what I had, but still overall, tremendous crop across the country. It's hard not to be positive looking at our markets and what we have to sell into now, but it is truly amazing what the American corn farmer can do year in and year out.
Jed, one thing that nobody has ever said while looking at a farmer is that guy over there, that gal over there, they don't work all that hard. If anything, there's a fault that we don't know how to take time off. But Jed, it's that time of year when I think a lot of the TV networks are showing Christmas movies on repeat. I think that there's a lesson that we could take away as folks in the ag industry from that Christmas classic. Do you know the movie I'm going to say, Jed?
I don't. There's a lot of good ones.
Die Hard. John McClane.
That's the one I wanted to go with. I love it.
John McClane and Holly have just been through this terrible ordeal. They have every reason to feel despair. Nakatomi Plaza is still on fire.
That's right.
At the end of the movie. And what do? For one moment, they climb into the limo, they shut the TV off, and they just ignore it all and focus on what's important for a minute. Now, farming is the most nonstop job that there is, Jed, but as tough as it might be right now, how important is it for folks to use this opportunity to unplug and just spend a little time with the family?
Oh, it's huge. And you know this. And we don't do it enough. We're so focused on our farms and getting them ready for potentially the next generation or even getting them ready for the next crop. The farm economy, we all know, is pretty bleak at the moment, but we need to settle down this holiday season and remember what it's truly about. Remember our families And I mean, we need this so much for just our mental health. And check on your friends, check on your family members that aren't able to be with you this holiday season, because it has been a tough year. And as we talked about, we've had a lot of wins, but it's truly a struggle for all of us in the farm world this holiday season. And it would mean a lot to your neighbors and your family, definitely, to reach out and just wish them a Merry Christmas and a happy holiday season as you're thinking of them when you're with your family.
That to-do pile will be there, right there waiting for us.
It never leaves.
It won't go away. But it can keep for a week.
You're right.
Like, just take the downtime. Enjoy it while you can. And certainly in 2026, we've still got work to do. It's hard to believe that it's so close, but what's first on the to-do list after the holidays here?
For me, I've got to move some grain. For one, we need a little operating capital, as I'm sure a lot of people are going over their books and realizing that. But we got to core some bins. And for those of them that doesn't understand that, just kind of pulling a little bit out of each bin to get that grain moving, check the quality, make sure it's holding like it should. It's all the kind of normal stuff. We'll start pulling planters out, put them in the shop and start going through them. It's just steady work day in and day out.
Nonstop. And it's the same for NCGA, of course. They've got some priorities as we head into the new year. Once you put your president's hat back on, what are you going to be working on?
My plan's to finish up E15 here.
That's a big apple to take a bite out of.
Well, we've only been doing it for a decade plus. Why can't I get it done in the first quarter? No, I mean, there is so many things, but there have been so many of us over the years working that battle. Man, we just want to get it done, get it over with, because we want to move on to other bigger and better things. And that's just one of those hurdles that keeps pulling us back or holding us up, so to speak. And I'd really like to check that box off. That way we can continue on working on this farm economy, working on trade deals, driving demand. It's, as you mentioned, it never quits. We just have to take time as we can to kind of decompress, but then get right back into it and start again. So.
Well, we've got good leadership. Certainly you're at the top, but you've got other folks standing behind you, standing next to you, standing with you. And NCGA, as always, is going to remain the steadfast, strong advocate for U.S. corn growers that the organization proved it was time and time again in 2025. Any final thoughts, Jed, as we wrap up our last episode of 2025 here?
Well, I guess just to add on to that, you're right. NCGA will be there. They'll be fighting for you as growers and fighting for me as a grower long after I'm done in my position. And we've got great people, got a great team, and they are truly dedicated. So NCGA will be there fighting the battles that you can't fight yourself. And I just would like to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy Holidays, and stay safe out there through the winter. If you're out watering livestock or, moving grain, just take your time, be safe. It gets slick in the winter, it gets cold, and we're all in a hurry. And sometimes we forget to slow down and take a minute.
1,000%. Jed Bower, National Corn Growers Association President, thank you for all you do. Thank you for joining us today on the Cobcast. Merry Christmas to you and yours as well.
Thank you, Dusty. Merry Christmas.
And thank you for listening. We hope you'll join us again next month for another episode of the Cobcast, Inside the Grind with the National Corn Growers Association. If you're on X, you can follow @NationalCorn for more news and updates from NCGA. Visit ncga.com to sign up for the association's email newsletter. Make sure you're following this show in your favorite podcast app. The Cobcast is brought to you by the National Corn Growers Association with editing by Matt Covarrubias, and it's produced by PodCamp Media, branded podcast production for businesses, podcampmedia.com. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and for the National Corn Growers Association, I'm Dusty Weiss.